So this is the episode where all the bad relationships break up. We start with Vivi going, so wait a minute, you were gonna kill me? And Chicle's like, yeah, kinda, just forget it. And then Vivi was freaking out. And she was like, no, you're a psycho, you're a killer, and then like we can't be together. It's like, Vivi, why didn't you ask these questions 20 episodes ago? The next room over, Beatrice is letting Octavio had it. She's like, listen, you're trash, miss me with these grocery flowers. You can go with your baby mama. And Octavio had no choice but to freaking go. Honestly, I stand Beatrice. She was always the nicest person in the show. She raised Vivi well, and she had some sense the second she found out she was getting cheated on. I stand her completely. And she kicked out Octavio, and Octavio had no choice but to go to his sugar baby house. And the kicker is that she's cheating on him with the pizza guy. Player getting played. Over at the gym, the whole gang goes to see Adriano to make sure that he doesn't have the plot documents. Unfortunately, the search goes nowhere, and Adriano thinks that he threw away the plot documents, so now everybody thinks the plot documents are dumb. I did like that Chicle gave Mano Santa a lot of crap for the stupid mistake he did. Elsewhere, Jose Elio shoots his shot. He tries to holler at Beatrice, but she's like, no, right now it's not the time. And she was like, please don't bother me. I'm just trying to heal. And honestly, she's 100% right. Like, she should take some time to find herself and to heal from this situation before she even thinks about starting a relationship. Over at the cake factory, Josiane keeps making stupid decisions, and Marcio's like, listen girl, like, if we sell this right now, we're gonna go broke eventually, you're not even taking care of the factory. And Josiane basically is like, I don't care, just make me money. Like, girl, you gotta go broke quicker than Mary Peace went broke. Speaking of Mary Peace, her and Amadeo will get some cake to cheer up. And I have to say that Amadeo has come a long way. He was really trifling in that first month when he kind of like cheated on both Hilda and Mary Peace, but he has gone above and beyond. Like, he has far redeemed himself, and I'm here for him and Mary Peace getting back together. And the cake cheered up Mary Peace because she was like, all right, I came to a conclusion, I'm gonna do something. And lo and behold, Josiane gets a visit that she was not like, and Mary Peace was like, listen, I'm here to curse you out. So it was kind of awkward because like Josiane was extra rude, but Mary Peace wasn't having it either, which this is why I love her as a protagonist. I really love the growth that Mary Peace had because the first thing she told Josiane was that she admitted that Josiane was raised wrong and that was all her fault. So she really owned up to her own mistakes. And she was like, but with that being said, Josiane is still evil, and she said, I don't care if you're crazy or you psycho, you're still going to pay for what you did to me. This is why I love Mary Peace. And Josiane is low-key shook. She was not ready for this attitude. Like, girl, you know what your mom is made of? And lo and behold, Regis pops in, and he's like, Mary Peace? Mary Peace wants nothing to do with him. She freaking doesn't even look at him. She's like, boy, you are not worth my eyesight. And Mary Peace straight up ignores his ass. And she keeps talking to Josiane. She legit doesn't even look at him. And she's like, well, I'm glad you didn't die. And freaking swerves past them. And Josiane is left looking like a crazy person as she realizes that the guy that she stole from her mom, now her mom took from her because he's crazy for Mary Peace. I cannot, y'all. And this is exactly what Josiane deserves. Elsewhere, Chicle tries to get Kim's help to get Vivi back. And can we talk about this? Kim really pulled out the flask and then poured her some on her coffee. She said, I want that Irish coffee. And then she got the tea. I love this crazy bitch. I absolutely love her. Teo goes to visit Mary Peace and he's like, listen, I try to warn you, I feel super bad. So now let's work together to take down Josiane. And Mary Peace said, yes, she will pay one day. I will do something. I just don't know what, but she will. Elsewhere, Josiane thinks she's going to celebrate with Regis at the mansion. She's like, we finally got rid of Mary Peace. We have the mansion. We won. And Regis is like, you crazy witch. I want nothing to do with you. And Josiane is shook. She was not ready for that one, and she getting that instant karma she deserves. Regis read her for filth. He was like, girl, you trash, and I don't want anything to do with you. Elsewhere, Mary Peace puts up her hair and gets right to work. This is why I love her. She is unstoppable. Marlene and Grandmama Evelina get in there, and they're like, girl, what are you up to? And Mary Peace is like, I'm baking again. Mary Peace started all over again from zero. I absolutely love her as a protagonist. So we start today's episode with Regis and Josiane getting into a fight, and Regis saying that he is out. Josiane is like, how could you leave me? We literally won. We got everything we wanted. We got the cake factory. We got the money. We got the mansion. You got your winery. Like, what's going on? And Regis is like, listen, I was a F-boy, I'll admit it, but he was like, but I wasn't a Villano, and I'm not here for this Villano lifestyle. Like, he really is shook. And Josiane was left dumbfounded. She was like, what do you mean you don't like the scamming life? So Regis was like, you're a trash girl, and I want nothing to do with you. So she literally ran after him. And then she's like, but we love each other. And Regis is like, listen, Hunty. He was like, a person who does that to his own mother cannot love anybody. And then he just packed up and left. Josiane was so angered by the way that Regis left her that she literally threw her drink at the freaking art piece. I cannot. And she deserves every bit of this karma for how evil she was. Back at Marlene's house, Grandmama Evelina is wondering why Mary Peace baked all these cakes, but Marlene already knows. Marlene has honestly been such like a mother figure to Mary Peace. She's literally been there with her in good and bad. Like I honestly love this old lady for being so wonderful to her. And it doesn't stop there. The next day Marlene has a surprise for her. It's Mary Peace's old cart from where she first started. Mary Peace starts all over again. And then we're treated to a montage of Mary Peace going out again and selling her cakes just the way when she first started. But can we talk about these cakes though? They look so delicious. I want them all. Ooh, look at that lemon one. That looks so good. Elsewhere, Fabiana runs into Kasia by pure coincidence, and she's like, we should go get a sandwich. That's like her go-to now. And Fabiana's like, let's become BFFs. I was raised in a convento, so like I am an honest, good person. And Kasia ate it all up. And then Fabiana ran to Agno and was, you better give me my money. Mess around and find that. Elsewhere, Amadeo and Regis meet up, and then they have the weirdest freaking team up. This show seriously keeps me guessing all the time. Like, Regis and Amadeo really teamed up to save Mary Peace. They were like, I ain't see nothing, she ain't do nothing. Free my girl Mary Peace. Elsewhere, Josiane slick. He shoots his shot, but he's like, I just want to be friends. And Beatriz fell for it perfectly. Honestly, I love this. Elsewhere, Rocky finds Fabiana's birth control. And he's like, girl, you've been playing me. And honestly, I don't take liars. So he cut her right on the spot. I was honestly very, very surprised. But I'm glad though. Back at the studio, Vivi's having yet another random photo shoot. And for whatever reason, they just decided to ignore Josiane today. And then Sylvia walked out as Josiane was walking in. And Josiane looked shook that Sylvia was getting all the attention. I bet you that Sylvia's going to be a better influencer than Josiane. That wasn't the only person that Sylvia was making jealous because Chicle showed up. And he was like, I'm here for Sylvia, not you, Vivi. And their plan worked. Vivi was jealous. Regis, for whatever reason, decides to go try to talk to Mary Peace, like as if she's gonna listen to him. And the first person he encountered was Marlene, who was not happy to see him. She started reading him for filth, just as he deserved. And then Grandmama Evelina saw it and then jumped right in as well. He honestly deserves all of it. They lied to him though and told him that Mary Peace was doing well, that she got some extra money and that she was living well. Honestly, like I feel like they shouldn't have done that, but that got cleared up right away. Mary Peace is out here wrapping up her cake tour, and then she gets her last customer. And then she runs into Regis. So then we have the episode end with Mary Peace seeing him. Will she be mad? Will she listen to him? Yo, I can't wait to see this. So we start today's episode with Regis running into Mary Peace, and he's like, but Mary Peace, I love you. And Mary Peace wanted nothing to do with him. She was like, you know what? You a F-boy and you just wasted my time. She really just took her cake cart and then swagged back in home like the queen that she is. Girls, take notes. Always respect yourselves. This episode is all about Josiane's cousin showing up and scamming her. The first one, Israel, who finally got his money. He really talked her into giving her like a portion of her money. This is wild. So Josiane already got scammed by one, and he's like, oh, if you need any more Villano henchman activities, I got you. Back in the hood, Mary Peace tells Grandmama Evelina and Marlene that she ran into Regis, but Mary Peace is like, you know what? I'm a little annoyed and I'm angry at what happened, but I'm not gonna let negativity stop me. She's a true queen for that. Now, doing a whole 180, we have Vivi running into Rocky's trainer, and she wants to use him to make Chicle jealous. Like, I can't stand. Outside the gym, Rocky's new opponent shows up, and he is smitten by Kim, but he's extra arrogant. But Kim ain't the one to be messed with. She was not impressed by his little, like, displays of conceitedness. And she was like, listen, you should be lucky to date someone like me. And she was like, but I ain't gonna date you. Elsewhere, Amadeo goes to visit Don and Teo to see if he's, like, kind of lucid. And he tries to ask him where the plot documents are. And Don and Teo's like, child, do I look like I'm coherent to you? And Don and Teo is still in the vegetable state. Amadeo goes to visit Mary Peace after that. And he tells Mary Peace the news. But then he's also shocked to find out that she's selling cakes on the street again. So he helps Mary Peace load up the cakes on the cake cart, and then he tells her that Regis changed his testimony regarding the night that she shot him. Fabiana shows up at the cake factory, ready to scam her cousin, and Josiane's like, no, I'm not going to sell the factory too. And Fabiana's like, yes you would. I got the receipts. And she pulled out the picture of Josiane pushing Gardel. And Josiane was shook. She did not see this one coming. But can we talk about this wild-ass picture? Like, how did Fabiana get such a good angle? Girl was all the way over there. Like, she should be a professional photographer. Look how good that came out. Anyways, Josiane tries to intimidate Fabiana. She's like, well, now that you know that I killed him, you should know that I'm a psycho, so you should be scared of me. And Fabiana was like, girl, please. I ain't scared of y'all psycho ass. Like, you don't even scare me. Like, get out of here. I got plot protection. And this had Josiane in a rage. She started yelling at her. She was like, how dare you extortion me? And Fabiana really blessed her. She did the sign of the cross and she was like, I forgive you. I cannot. And Josiane was like extra mad. She big mad. Over at the photo studio, Sylvia and Chicle are trying to make Vivi jealous. But Vivi pulls up with Rocky's trainer, and now it's Chicle that's jealous. Honestly, I cannot stand this couple BS. Later that night, Rocky runs into Mary Peace in the street, and I just love their relationship. Like, it's so wholesome. Like, Rocky really is the son that Mary Peace never had. And Rocky tells Mary Peace how much he admires her for having the strength to start all over again after she lost everything. Mary Peace goes and fixes him a cake. And Rocky's like, alright, I gotta tell you the truth. Josiane's gonna sell the factory. And Mary Peace was not ready for those news. I'll never get over Regis and Amadeo just like casually hanging out. But this time, Amadeo showed up to serve the divorce papers. And Regis was like, I will never ever divorce Mary Peace. Over at the mansion, Teo shows up and he's like, listen, Josiane, I know you're going to sell the factory. And he was like, tell me what dirt Fabiana has on you. Because I don't believe that you would just sell it one day to the other. And Josiane's like, no, I'm over it. I just want to be an influencer. Which, like, it's a credible excuse. And then she gets a surprise visit. And Mary Peace is like, you are not selling that factory. So we start this episode with Mary Peace and Josiane going at it about selling the factory, but Josiane doesn't listen to Mary Peace at all. Mary Peace realizing there's nothing she can do, she's like, you know what, Josiane, fine, you're gonna suffer then, and I'm here for this attitude. Afterwards, Teo hangs out with Josiane, and he tries to play the game himself. He's like, damn, I'm sorry that you're alone now, that Regis left you, and he was like, have you ever thought that he just used you too? And that left Josiane thinking, like, maybe he is right. Like, you go, Teo, you do that. Over at Vivi's house, Camilo goes and visits Vivi and tells him that he's still looking into Cosme's death. Kind of forgot about that because it was so long ago. But he's like, I need to interrogate Chicle. Vivi, of course, was like, I don't know nothing. I ain't seen nothing that day. Back at the factory, Marcel tries to talk some sense to Josiane selling the factory. But of course, Josiane will not budge at all, and she insults him as well. And Marcel just loses his ish. He runs and tells Mary Peace about it, but then Mary Peace is like, I already know there's something I can do. And then she thinks about her people. Mary Peace starts reminiscing about the day that she left and how she hugged with everybody. And this shows you how Mary Peace is a true leader. Like, she really thinks about her people first. Afterwards, Fabiana shows up to complete a transaction of the purchase of the cake factory. And Josiane threatens her. She was like, if I find those plot pictures, I'm gonna kill you or whatever. And Fabiana is like, oh, bet? You want to act this way? She said, fine. It's another 10% off for you for threatening me. Like, this girl really finessed an extra discount on top of everything. And Josiane was pissed. She literally did the Selena Gomez meme. And the factory is officially Fabiana's. She's literally the only one happy about it. Josiane walks out of the cake factory and she's like, well, from now on, the only thing I have to worry about is spending money. Like, yeah, girl, you go and waste all that money because you're going to be broke before you know it. Fabiana wastes no time and she immediately starts to meet with the staff. Here's the thing about Fabiana. She's cold and calculating and she's very analytical. She's by the numbers. She would actually be perfect in a corporation. But she's not good here because she immediately picks a fight with... She tells Britney that she has to be called by her former name and she has to wear men's clothes. Britney was shook, and rightfully so. Britney tried to explain to her, but I'm a woman, this is not right. And Fabiana kept at it. She tried to be mean and it's not okay. We literally, I love Fabiana when she's against other villanos, but I don't like Fabiana when she picks on good people. In this house, we love and respect trans lives and they should be respected as they wish to be called. And Fabiana is so wrong for picking on Britney. And honestly, this is such a good storyline. I'm glad that they're covering this topic because I think it's so needed to discuss all of this. I'm looking forward to see how this goes. Vivi talks with Chicle and she tells him that Camilo's been looking for him. And I almost want to skip this part because honestly, these two are annoying, but I just want to give it to you all really quick. So they go back at it and they're like, do you like me? And then they're like, no. This is freaking high school. Y'all need to stop. And then Vivi's fake boyfriend shows up and he starts making Chicle jealous. And then it gets even more cringy. The four of them go to the same restaurant. Chicle tries to make Vivi jealous by holding Sylvia's hand. And Vivi goes all out. She falls on makeouts with the dude. Vivi, you doing too much, girl. And seriously, I can't stand them because this is so childish and it's so stupid. I used to love Vivi at first, but she really disappointed me with all this childishness. I freaking love Chicle's look of disappointment though. He looks like a sad puppy. Back at the factory, Fabiana announces some changes that she's making. Already people are all over her. The factory's already like, damn, you annoying. Marcel talks to Britney and the staff and he's like, watch out for her. And then Britney tells her what happened. And honestly, I don't know if Fabiana can legally, I don't know what it's like in Brazil, but I don't know if Fabiana can legally, make Britney be called by her former name. What really disappointed me was Abel. He legit agreed with Fabiana. He was like, you should be called by your former name and we should wear boys' clothes. Abel, man, we used to stand you and now I can't stand him for this nonsense. Back in the streets, Mary Peace continues selling her cakes and Eusebio keeps bothering her about how he should have given her 50%. And I'm glad she set his ass straight. She was like, listen, I'm the one pushing the cart. I pushed the cart years ago. I bake the cakes. I do everything. You did nothing. You need to stop. And I'm glad that she finally set her foot down and told him to chill because he's been so annoying with that ever since. She then meets with Teo and Rocky and they start planning Josiane's downfall. And Mary Peace's plan is so simple. She's like, we're going to hit Josiane where it hurts her the most, in the money. We're going to make sure she goes broke. And it's like, Mary Peace, you didn't even need to assemble a team to do that. She would have done that all by herself.